What's up, everybody? In this video, I'm going to break down exactly how you can increase the price of your digital marketing services without breaking your entire business or making sales harder or scaring away your prospects. It's actually a lot easier than most people make it out. So hang out with me in this video. I'll break it all down for you. We've served over 1,000 marketing agencies in our coaching agency, and really a lot of them struggle to figure out how to charge a price that makes sense for the prospects and their business. So I'm going to give you all the details. I'm going to give you a little equation here and a formula you can use to make sure you're nailing the price. And let's just dive right in. So I get it, right? Quick story. I remember I had this client, a interior designer, loved her. She was a very sweet lady. I think she was paying me $400 a month. It wasn't $300, it wasn't $500. I'm almost certain it was $400 a month. And I would kind of just be her fractional CMO and really just do whatever she needed. So whether that was like a website, making lead magnets, doing the email list, running social media. And there was this phrase that I came up with during that time, and it was overcompensate versus over deliver. And I think what a lot of us do is, because we are not hyper clear in the outcome we are providing to a client, instead of over delivering on that promise and that outcome, we instead overcompensate and just do a bunch of stuff, busy work, additional things that are way out of scope just to keep the client happy so they don't churn. And then what ultimately happens is we do all this extra work, we spend all this extra time, but because we're not producing the outcome that they really want, they end up firing you anyways. And again, this other classic saying you've probably heard before is people who pay the least expect the most. So you really want to do yourself a big favor, swim upstream to more premium prices. So not only do you attract a more premium client, but it gives you better margin to serve them and more margin to invest in the acquisition of getting those premium clients. So I get it. It's very easy to kind of stay stuck. And what most people do is they kind of just look around to what the industry averages are, what their competitors are doing, and they either go a little bit higher or a little bit lower. That's not the right way to do it. And again, yes, it's helpful to know what other people are doing, but you don't want to be the cheapest option on the block because it's a race to the bottom of the barrel. There will always be someone willing to do that service cheaper. So you don't want to sell based on what you do. You want to sell based on the outcome you provide. Let's get into it. All right, so a couple of different segments of the market to just be considerate of in terms of how pricing works. So there may be a few more. Here's the general ones that I see. So lost leaders are the ones who are the cheapest option available. A lot of times you'll see software where they'll sell lifetime subscriptions and they'll have like these crazy one-off deals. And really how they win is on arbitrage, meaning they just get as many people as possible in there. There's zero fulfillment required for them. And they just kind of get the software, but it doesn't leave you a lot of margin to provide a premium service or invest in acquiring more clients. This really works when you already have a big brand and a lot of people that are following you, looking to you for advice, and you can sell them a product that requires none of your time, but then in mass they buy. Not going to be where most of you start, just consideration. All right, so the commodity pricing. This is the category I would say most white labeled high level software companies fall into because there's so many other versions of what they do. They just become a commodity. And again, it becomes a race to the bottom of the barrel of who can provide, a great outcome, not necessarily going to be the lost leader or the lowest like quality products, but still challenging because you are competing against a lot of people who are selling the same thing. And again, you need to really win on brand here and outcome, but also a hyper productized offer. So the requirements for you to fulfill are pretty low. So this is like where software would probably end up. Where I want you to live is in the premium pricing. This is value based. Again, we'll talk about that a little bit more in just a moment, but this is where you can make really good money and make a great impact for the people that you serve. Luxury pricing is the easiest things that come to mind, and this is starting to move outside of agency services. This is more like, in this world of B2B, high ticket consulting and coaching, where the fact that it's expensive is the value, right? And the rooms that you get into or the people that you are surrounded by, a lot of times they're selling access at these prices in this industry, rather than like in the B2C market when we say luxury goods would be like, Louis Vuitton, brands like that, where again, the value of those things is they are expensive. So not really going to be doing luxury pricing here. If you're a digital marketing agency, you're not necessarily selling access. But this is, again, just the spectrum of different price points in the market that you can kind of be considerate of. This is really where I want you to live. So how do you live there? Let's break it down. Easy answer is going to come down to who you serve, right? Plus value-based pricing. So not pricing based on the deliverables or the features of your product that you sell, and not basing it on how much time it takes you, right? There's this silly idea where when you're charging based on time, it's basically saying, hey, Mr. Prospect, you value something taking longer to complete, right? You're willing to pay me more money to take even longer to do something. And at the end of the day, like, even the best intentioned person gets distracted. They don't stay on point all the time, and your clients are now punished for your team's execution or your execution if it takes longer to do something. So not going to be my favorite recommendation, but who you serve is equally as important as pricing that based on the value, because they need to have massive upside in terms of your premium pricing. I'll give you the whole equation here in just a moment, so stay tuned for that. But this is going to make a big difference. Who you serve, and then pricing based on value. Again, we're going to break it all down. Now, another quick story. You need to also be selling your prospects the outcomes that they want, not the outcomes that you want. Very often, especially in the digital marketing space, we get caught up in what we're passionate about, right? The graphic design, the systems development, running the paid ads, or whatever the thing is that really gets you excited. Your customers and prospects could care less. So one of my longest standing clients was this big patio furniture store back in California. Their name was Outdoor Elegance. And when I first went and met the general manager there, I basically pitched them an iPhone app, because at the time, that's what we were doing. I was trying to come up with all the reasons why they should have an iPhone app and why it's valuable for them and why they should, all these things, right? And what I was doing was making these big, massive blanketed assumptions instead of just hearing, like, what do you guys actually want? What do you need? And they said no to the app pitch. Fine. It took, and fortunately, there was my college roommate's family owned this company. So they gave me some grace, and they're like, well, we're looking to still grow and do things online. What else you got? And so it came back later and actually listened and heard them out of what their goals were, what they were trying to accomplish. And then I took the skill sets that I had, the offers that I knew I could give to them, and packaged something for their patio furniture store. And then I was able to go resell that offer to dozens of other patio furniture manufacturers and stores around the country, because I actually listened to what they wanted, not what I wanted to sell them. So there's this idea of, like, you should do the things you're passionate about. I think that advice is kind of silly. A lot of times when people do what they're passionate about, they aren't able to follow the money. My opinion is, get passionate about the game of business, play the hand that you're dealt. So whatever opportunities are easy, low-hanging fruit that you have access to in front of you, take advantage of those. And then when you're making money and have time freedom in your business, cool. Then you can go follow whatever your passions are. But very often, if we try to just focus on the thing we want, it's a mismatch. So never start your offer with what am I going to sell? Start with who am I going to serve? And then structure your offer around that so those people are willing to actually pay the premium for what you do. Cool. Make sense? Let's keep rocking. Now, these are a couple of the traits of clients who can actually afford to pay the premium. So aside from, like, what you do, let's talk about those characteristics. So first thing is, your clients need to have a high lifetime value, meaning they either spend a lot consistently or they spend a lot at one time. So a couple of examples that come to mind would be things like plastic surgery, roofing, again, patio furniture. People would come into these patio furniture stores and spend $30,000, $50,000, $100,000 on furniture and barbecue grills. And it was crazy. Like the higher ticket and more premium priced your clients are, the idea here is it only takes you 1, 2, 3 sales maybe for them to totally ROI on your entire investment of what you do. And they even pay you for like 3, 6, 12 months off of a couple of sales. And these industries are a lot easier to serve because, again, I'll use the example of now a pizza shop, right? I used to deliver pizzas back when I was starting my business. And I was thinking, like, if I wanted to charge this pizza shop $1,000 a month to do marketing, first of all, they would have never said yes, but they would have also, how many pizzas would I have had to help them sell just to break even? They likely didn't have the capacity to take on that much more work, probably $1,000 more in pizza a month, probably. But at the end of the day, like, they don't want to just break even. A lot of businesses, they don't really just want like a 2-to-1 ROI. They've got overhead, they got staff. It isn't just the investment in you. They need to like 3, 5, even 10x the investment in your business to make it a worthwhile price point. And again, I have another concept and idea where you need to make sure that your price is priced for your prospects and clients' worst months. Back in patio furniture, again, it's seasonal. So come wintertime, sales were a lot slower, and it was very easy for me to be on the chopping block, and I often was when they weren't making those sales, and they need to just make overhead, and they cut us out, right? So you need to really be considerate of what is the industry that you serve, what is the glass ceiling that they're willing to pay for this in their worst month, and then still make sure that that's priced against what your deliverables cost you. I'm going to give you the formula in just a minute. So this really makes your life a lot easier. When their clients are worth a lot, it means you don't have to get them a lot of business to keep it rocking. All right, so established businesses with a current customer base, not startups. And I get it, right? Like, it's very easy to mix in with the other solopreneurs, startups in your community. You start going to some networking events, you start meeting other people, and you're like, oh, like, these are the people I can serve. I'm passionate about like helping them start their businesses. But there's this idea, and I'm going to jump down to here, where you should be helping winners win more. It's very, very challenging, especially when you're figuring out your own business, to help other people figure out their business who haven't quite done it yet. And I have this kind of leaky bucket metaphor where, if they do not have any water in their bucket, so the bucket is their business and the water is their prospects, leads, sales. If their bucket is empty and you have to fill that up all by yourself, again, it makes it very challenging for you to help put them in a winning position when they're still just figuring out their business. So working with established businesses who've been around for a long time, who have a customer base, not startups, is going to be another attribute of people who can afford to pay the premium. All right, another big one here is I want them to ideally already be spending on digital marketing. If they're spending on marketing in general, that's fine. Digital marketing, even better, because the idea here is the people who are already spending money on something are a lot more likely to spend even more money on that thing or move that money around to go spend it on something else, right? So you start going to your local CrossFit gym. All of a sudden you start to realize like, hey, like they're wearing these certain CrossFit shoes like Nike and Noble, all these different brands make CrossFit specific shoes. Oh, wait, now I need like these, I'm not even sure what you call them, like the hand pad grip things for when you're doing pull-ups. Like, oh, maybe I need some of those. Oh, I'm lifting heavy, so now I need a lifting belt. Oh, we're doing double unders and jump ropes. Like, okay, I need a good jump rope. So there's these things that you start to, once you make a commitment to do something, you become a super buyer of the products that are around that. So same thing with digital marketing. Like if they're already running paid ads consistently, there's a high likelihood they're going to be willing to buy software to help plug up their leaky bucket. They're going to be more likely to pay for SEO or build a new website or do social media marketing. So one of my favorite tools for identifying this is a platform called D7 Lead Finder, and it'll help you make a list of businesses, wherever you want, and it will help you identify ones who are already spending money on digital marketing. So you don't know like if they're doing it themselves and it's getting bad results, if they're paying another agency and they're getting terrible results, if there's someone like in-house kind of running it. So you want to ideally work with people who already have placed value and spent time and money doing a thing similar to what you sell. It's going to be a lot easier to get them over onto your boat than it is to try and convince them, if they're not spending money on that thing, to start doing it. All right. So another big one is, make sure they have a website already. I've talked to a lot of people where they have this lead-in offer of, hey, like we'll go build your website for you because you don't have one yet. But again, someone who doesn't have a website yet is probably missing two of these check boxes, and they're probably not a super established business, and they probably don't care that much or don't think that much about digital marketing. So this is, again, some of you who sell SEO, maybe you need to build them a new website on top of something they already have, but this is very hard when someone has no online presence, even if they have an established business, to help boost them up when they're starting basically behind the starting line. We're already in 2025, right? Like it's hard to now start to go compete there, and now you're in a position where you're trying to help someone in maybe more of a losing position win. It's challenging, right? Cool. So those are some traits of clients who can afford to pay a premium. Let's keep rocking. This is another big component as well. I could do a whole video on this later, and I will. So hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more of this for this newer channel. I appreciate you guys. And when you have a new opportunity, it's this idea that even if you sell the same thing as everyone else, right? You sell SEO, you sell Facebook ads, you sell social media marketing. How you create a new opportunity from that is you name the offer and or the system by which you get the results. So you're going to talk to someone, they'll be like, let's say you work with attorneys and you're selling Facebook ads, right? Like, well, we've tried Facebook ads before. We're already running like these ads over here. So we don't want to do this. But when you can then instead name the product, name the system. So shout out to one of our clients, Marilyn Jenkins. I like her name, the system for her product a lot. And she has the case flow system, right? And in the name, you can see what the value is already. We're going to get you a flow of cases to your law firm. And what this helps her do is position her offer in the light of, hey, this isn't just about Facebook ads. It's about the whole system here of the case flow method, right? The case flow system. And you want to give your product a name as well, your system a name as well. And here's kind of a little hack. The fact that you have a name is more important than what the name is. Do not agonize over the name. Some people like to do acronyms, then that helps break down their system. Some people, I like this version, is have a benefit-driven name, so you clearly know what the benefit and outcome of doing this is in the name. But I'll give you kind of an example outside the digital marketing space. So P90X is this really popular at-home workout system, and it's really not that dramatically different than other workouts. But the idea is Beachbody, the company who owns it, creates a new opportunity by saying, hey, like you've tried the gym before, maybe you've tried CrossFit, maybe you've tried other at-home workouts, you've tried dieting, none of those things work for you. P90X is the new thing. P90X can work for you, even though, again, it's very similar to what's already out there. You just package it in a new way, thus creating a new opportunity. And the novelty of that will allow you to charge a premium price because now you're not a commodity. Now you're not selling the same features, the same services as everyone else, where there's always going to be someone willing to undercut you. Now you have intellectual property that no one else can sell, thus making it more valuable. All right. Another big one is your offer needs to be not nice to have. It needs to be need to have. So this again is if you are selling a service that is just kind of nice to have, and I'm going to be real with you guys, so don't, all you social media, like organic people who post and like designers and branding, like please don't get mad at me. What you do is valuable, but I need to be real with you. When push comes to shove, if your clients are in a spot where you can't cover the overhead of their employees, their other business, and you are not able to directly tie the value of what you do to a dollars and cents outcome or time saved outcome or money saved outcome, the chances of you being on the chopping block are a lot higher. And one of the things that we do and we recommend is this offer structure called a strategy partner agency. And what this essentially means is instead of just being a lead vendor where, hey, we're just going to, send you leads and you guys work them, is you become more of a strategic partner inside their business, even if it's just, again, by the perception of how you frame your offer. So I'm going to quickly break down what we recommend for the strategy partner agency, and it's three things. First is going to be a high ticket, done for you lead gen service that The idea is you can charge the premium for this that fills their bucket with water. So this is things like Facebook ads, Google ads, Google local Google service ad, Google Guarantee, that platform. This could be like database reactivation, anything that is directly driving sales opportunities and income to their business that you can tie a tangible outcome against. Number three, jumping ahead, number two is going to be a lower ticket service as a software, likely white labeled high level or just high level itself, where it's more like a utility bill. This is the thing that plugs up their leaky bucket. And this is things like missed call text back, the AI employee, anything where they are able to just kind of set it and forget it, and it helps drive business to them, but they don't really have to think about it. So this could be something, again, you're charging in the neighborhood of $300 to $500 a month or more for reputation management. Again, other features and services high level. I'd only pick like 2 or 3 that complement the high ticket done for you lead gen component. But you want this to be not only a front end downsell opportunity, but a back end revenue retention mechanism by which if someone churns out of your the done for you lead gen, they still want to keep that utility bill and a lower ticket one, so you can retain some revenue and maintain the relationship, so they're more likely to come back and buy more services. Number three, now we're on number three, is going to be this idea of fractional CMO, but only in the capacity of offering strategic advice around their marketing as a whole. And this could be as simple as you do a monthly one-on-one call that just does an audit and analyzes where they're at overall and help either recommend, implement, and or guide them to whatever they need to do to fix the thing. So when you have leads who's like, and clients are like, all the leads suck. Like, okay, well, let's look at that. What is the nurture process? How is your team calling them? What does the follow-up look like? And when you can help create some of these assets that help elevate you past just a lead vendor, and you're actually helping them make strategic decisions that grow and move their business forward, you now are immensely more valuable, even again, if it's just in the framing and the positioning of how you make your offer to them. So you're not just someone who sends them leads, but you help actually grow and make their business better. So that's kind of the 3-punch formula we like. Again, I could do another video on this, breaking it down in more depth. We're talking just about raising your prices here. All right, now to the meat of this, the formula, okay? It's very, very simple. Basically, you need to take whatever results you get for your clients on average, and you're going to divide that number by 5. Now, again, you can divide it by somewhere between 5 to 10. So what the idea is, you're going to take 10 to 20% of the financial outcome you provide on average to the prospects that you serve. This is, again, a huge benefit of niching down, because if you're trying to charge $3,000 a month and you're selling that offer and that package to a bunch of different industries, it's worth a lot of different things to them. And so this is where it's going to be hyper beneficial to know exactly, like, hey, if I'm delivering 100 leads per month to patio furniture stores, on average, they will make 5 sales at $20,000 a piece. Okay, that's $100,000. Now the ceiling for what you can charge is elevated, right? So now that I can charge $5,000, $10,000. Probably when you're flirting with like $20,000, $25,000, you're going to have to do a lot more or get a lot more of an outcome. But this is where you can start to play with these numbers, and why I go all the way back up to, like, you need to have your clients be worth a lot to them, so you only have to get them a few customers to be able to command the premium price. Now, on the flip side of this, because this is the ceiling, right? Like, you take that number that you're earning for them on average, divide it by 5. That is what you could charge at a maximum. But on the low end, you need to take your fulfillment costs and multiply it by 2.5. We follow a system for our accounting basically called the perfect P&L, and it recommends that your fulfillment costs do not make up more than 40% of your total revenue, and not more than 40% of what a client pays you. So for easy math, if a client's paying you $1,000 per month, you have $400 per month that you should be allocating to pay a fulfillment team to pay someone to do that work for you. So I would be doing this in advance, understand what it costs you to fulfill a product. If you have a white label team, you know exactly what it costs. Maybe if you have to go hire someone hourly or bring them in-house, you know what that costs. And over time, in-house people, the margins will get better. With white label, obviously they're fixed, so it makes it a little more challenging. Some will scale with you and get you like lower costs as you bring on more clients, but tend to be fixed. But multiplying that number by 2.5 will let you know what the floor is, right? So with that number, you have the floor of what you need to price to be profitable as a business, and then your ceiling against the average value. Now, if you don't know the average value yet, you may just need to start at what the minimum is for you to charge based on your fulfillment cost and be at cost essentially until you discover that value. That's okay. But if you generally know, like, hey, I'm going to work with a roofer, they charge $20,000 for a roof, I can get them one roof a month. Okay. And now you can start to charge a premium. $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 is not out of the question. So just food for thought. This is a really easy kind of equation you can use to come up with your premium pricing. And when you get on a sales call, before you get to your price, you're anchoring not only what it's cost them so far to not have this in place, but you're also anchoring what it is worth to them once they do have it in place against the average value that you bring to clients. And then also, and then I'll do a whole video on this again a little later, but just having flexible payment options to allow them to spread out those payments or make it a little easier for them to make the investment, make the commitment, and then offering them incentives to prepay so you can get a little more cash up front is helpful as well, but not really what this video is about. All right, a couple other little hacks, boosts, little tips and tricks for you to take to the bank with you. Having, data, customer success stories on what you've actually done will allow you again to command a premium price because the perceived likelihood that they will get the result is a lot higher. If you have no proof, no results, the perceived likelihood is now lower. So when you can have the perception that, hey, this is going to work for me for sure, and that confidence to sell it, cool, they're going to be willing to pay the premium and not have as many questions about that. In the same idea, and when I was talking about data, this might be more about, so quick example, Harvard doesn't publish testimonials. They publish data of their students. So, hey, this graduating class on average gets this starting salary at the positions they take. And so when this is the most valuable thing you can have, and it's a little bit of a level above just testimonials and case studies like I have here, and I was kind of just talking about, the data piece is really more about like, hey, if you've done this with enough people, can you show them an average and what that data looks like? All right, so referrals, obviously, another place where people trust you. They see a result you got for a peer, someone they know, like, and trust. It's going to be a lot easier to sell them the premium price. Just make sure you're being transparent around other people who may be grandfathered in at a different price. That's okay, right? As long as you're transparent and they don't have to find out through the grapevine they're paying more, you've just gained more confidence in the fulfillment of your product and the outcomes it provides. But again, like, if they are mad they have to put $2 in the ATM to get 20 out instead of 1, like, let's be real. Why wouldn't they still take that bet as long as you can, give them the confidence you're going to get the outcome? Obviously, brand and belief in the result. So again, likelihood that they will achieve the outcome, going to make a huge difference. A lot of times that comes down to, do they trust you? If you guys have been watching a bunch of my YouTube videos, if we get on a call, if you're interested in working with us at prospectingondemand.com, there's a higher likelihood you're going to want to work with us because we built trust. We have this content we're putting out there. So again, a little bit more of a longer term play, but how you also can charge premium prices. And then just confidence in what you're selling, right? And then I'm going to actually move this down. Just say a higher price. Next time when you get on a call, and instead of saying $1,000 a month, say $1,500 a month, say $2,000 a month. You'll be surprised that people, again, when you can nail these other parts of this, they're not going to bat an eye. So hopefully this has been helpful. I'm going to wrap it up. I got to jump to a team call this morning, and let me know if you got any questions in the comments. As always, hit that like button and do me a favor, subscribe if this was helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.